Hi guys, welcome back to the Humble Gamer channel and welcome back to my Festival of Steam. Tonight we are going to be driving this, the Severn Valley Railway. It's made by Steam Sound Supreme at time of recording, which is long before, which is at the end of June, so don't worry about this. This should all be sorted as far as you guys are concerned. I don't know the link to give you so you can play this route from Steam Sound Supreme. Once I find it, I shall get it to you. If I can find it. If it's not down there, there'll be a link to Steve Sound Supreme's website, but if there's not a direct link to the Severn Valley Railway route, then I couldn't find a link, for which I apologise. But yes, this is going to be about an hour long. We're going to be going from Kidderminster to Bridgnorth. Kidderminster Station is where... This is my hometown. This is where I'm from. I've spent a lot of time on and around this station. It's not where I live now, for the record, but this is where I was born and where I grew up. Spent a lot of time on the Rail Museum. Even spent a couple of days on that on that miniature railway. And I've spent a lot of time. They haven't put any stands here, but I spent a lot of time here at Agborough Stadium, which is the home of Kidderminster Harriers. And I've certainly spent more than my fair share of time on this bridge, looking out over both BR and Severn Valley Railway trains. But yeah, I've run this route a couple of times for reasons that we'll come to later in the video. But this is not a first look sort of video, but I really wanted to show you guys this because I absolutely love it, and it's a really good representation. If you've ever been, it looks really, really very much like the actual thing. I don't have all the route assets, hence why there's no station building here at Kidderminster Town Station. But yeah, no, this is my childhood. In fact, my high school, or the high school I could have gone to, is up here. In fact, I think it's probably that building there. And my actual house is over there somewhere, or where I used to live anyway, I should say. And we are driving, I haven't shown you this yet, the Earl of Mount Edgecombe, which is Digital Traction's wonderful GWR Duke Dog locomotive. I've never driven this either. I've never driven this one before, so just from running to apply. Okay, cool, that's fine. So there will be a bit of locomotive learning as well as anything else, but 2 standard GWR whistles, in which case we shall go and leave Kidderminster and head out along the Severn Valley Railway. Something I'm very, very excited to show you guys. This is a really... I mean, even if you don't know the route itself, even if I wasn't from this area, it is such a well-detailed route that it's amazing. You will feel like you're there, I promise you. And anyone that's any steam enthusiast that have been on the Severn Valley Railway, or anyone else that's Kidderminster born and bred, like myself, who has been on the Severn Valley Railway, will recognise an awful lot of places, not just Kidderminster, obviously, anywhere along the railway. We shall be stopping at all stations, and we shall be stopping at, yeah, like I said, we're stopping at all stations apart from the 2 halts, which we won't stop at, because I'm not stopping at halts. I'm above such things. I'm driving a Duke Dog, with accompanying Western Region, or ex-Western Region coaches, it should be said. But, you know, the Severn Valley Railway has always been an important part of my life. It's going to get more important very, very soon. It's going to become a much more important part of my life. But again, I shall go into details as to why in a little bit. Right, we're already speeding, so that's fine. Oh, hold on. I do believe I've already ballsed it up. Yep, absolutely. So after all that, I was taking us into the carriage sidings. Ooh, nice wheel slip sound effects. Bear with me when we're back on the main road.
You're a very naughty engine.
And that, boys and girls, is no matter how excited you are to drive a route, if you're showing it to somebody, make sure you set your route first. We're now going towards Bridge North and not towards the carriage sidings, which is, I'm sure, a great improvement for all concerned. So yes, like I said, the Severn Valley Railway has always been important to me, and it's going to get more important to me later in life. It's going to get more important to me in next year. In the next year, because I shall explain fully why, but it's gonna really cement itself as a big part of my life. Not that it needs to do that, because it was already a big part of my life, but it's going to become even more huge. But yeah, there's the main British Railways line to Worcester and Birmingham, going in that direction. We, however, are going in this direction and heading towards deepest, darkest Shropshire and Bridge North. Honestly, this route is really well done. It's been in development for a long time, and there's been a lot of stuff that was up in the air about it, a lot of umming and ahhing, lots of setbacks and delays, and I have been watching it since for a long time, and I'm very, very glad that it's finally made its way. When I got the email from Steam Sound Supreme saying, by the way, here's a link to the Severn Valley Railway, I was like, oh, that's amazing. Sorry if that completely destroyed the mic, that guttural throat sound. But yeah, so these are houses. Obviously, again, I am missing some assets. You do need a fair amount of DLC to play, so I've got 90% of it, I think. I'm missing one vaguely important piece. Down there is where I bought my first console. That's where I bought my first PlayStation. Not down there, in fact, it's down that way at an old Curry's PC World. That way is towards Worcester. And down there, this scrapyard is where me and my dad took one of our old cars to get scrapped. Going back years and years, an old F-Reg white Astra. And since I'm done boring you with my childhood, I should jump back to the Earl of Mount Edgecombe, and I should drag myself back to the popular railway-based gaming video that I'm doing. Well, I hope popular. As we make our way out towards Bewdley, out of Kidderminster. Of course, this is the thing. Kidderminster itself was on the main line, and this was a branch line, even in GWR days. That split off. It went towards Bridge North and Iron Bridge, and eventually onto Shrewsbury. And then there was also a split at Bewdley, and I can't remember where it used to go to. And that's annoying, because my dad used to go there on holiday. We used to travel on that route towards Wolferton. Is where the branch line from Bewdley went to, but we should talk about that in detail when we get there. In terms of the locomotive, by the way, this digital traction offering, it is as good as everything else digital traction do. It's good, it's solid, the whistles are unimaginative, but the sound effects are really nice, and the design of the loco is spot on. I've never seen one of these up close, but obviously you've seen my Reader's Digest book of railway locomotives, and it looks pretty accurate from everything I've seen in there. It's nice to drive, it's intuitive, there's no special thing that they seem to add on to these locomotives all the time now, and while I get it's a simulator, it's also, I don't think you should necessarily have to know how to drive a steam locomotive perfectly to enjoy yourself on TrainSim, but that's just me. I'm sure. I don't know if Irascible has a YouTube channel. I think he does. If you don't know, he's on Irascible SAP is his name. Irascible_SAP is his name. Sorry, on Twitch. And if you like TrainSim stuff, definitely go and check him out. I shall link to his Twitch and his YouTube if I find it in the description below. Definitely go and check him out. He's an awesome guy, and he really knows his stuff about steam locomotives. I suspect. Well, not just about steam locomotives, but about locomotives in railways in general. I suspect he may have been a railwayman at some point in his time, but I could be wrong. But I'm just guessing. I've never asked him about it. But yes, here we are. We're on the approach to Bewdley now. And as such we go past, there's actually a small airstrip in that field there, as referenced by the Nissan hut. And this is there's a BMX track in the woods and fields around here. Which will I slow us down again, because we will need to slow. And then over here is the safari park, which is pretty cool. The Westminster Safari Park. Myself and Charlie went there a few times. Went there quite recently, and they've even got zebras. They've even got zebras. As we watch Mount Edgecombe coast past. But yes, they've got zebras. You've got over here. You've got giraffe, which I haven't actually noticed until this particular playthrough. Although the giraffe doesn't have any eyes, which is a little bit disconcerting. Not gonna lie. And elephants. And there was another branch line as well, which veered off here. And there's actually a little bit. You can still walk up. Legally, you cannot. But when I was a member of the Severn Valley Railway Youth Club, we actually did a walk along this part of track bed. There is actually a bridge here. But yeah, you can walk along that part of the track bed. It's actually a very nice. It's actually a very nice walk. Again, legally, you cannot walk along that part of the track bed. So please don't go and walk along that part of the track bed and say the humble gamer said you could, because I said so mistakenly. You're legally not allowed to. But yes, so here we are arriving into Bewdley, which was originally a junction. Now, those of you that have watched my Sodor Snippet series, and if you haven't, it's down below in the description, where I'm building the island of Sodor in Train Simulator, my own version of it from scratch. The Thomas's branch line is very much, I've taken a lot of inspiration from the Severn Valley Railway, and in fact actually next time you see Thomas's branch line, I don't know when that'll be, but next time you see it, it will have an awful lot of Bewdley's scenery. Because Ellsbridge is based on Bewdley. That's how I designed Ellsbridge. I liked the look of Bewdley and I thought I'm going to steal that look. And so anyway, let us get ready to stop here, 15 minutes out of Kidderminster, at a lovely station. I've always loved Bewdley. To be fair, there aren't any really ugly stations on the Severn Valley Railway. They're all beautiful and gorgeous and well maintained. So yes, as we come to a stop, which is pretty much exactly where they stop on the real railway. Have I nailed it? Yes, I have. Oh, I'm happy with that. Oh, I'm happy with that. And often, yes, there is one or two carriages left and then the platform. But yes, this is Bewdley. This is just, again, a really well done representation of Bewdley. The youth club coach used to be along here. And then here, and in here, this is where you would find there are a couple of coaches always here for the shop. So yes, there's a shop, there's a model railway shop, and there used to be a model railway. I think it's still there, I'm not certain though. Anyone's been to the railway, I've been to the railway quite recently for reasons which we'll come to, quite recently, but reason we'll come to in a second, but I haven't been to Bewdley in a while. And I think there's definitely used to be, and I think there is still a model railway carriage there. And then down to the town of Bewdley, which Bewdley's often featured quite heavily on the news around certain times of the year, because this is the River Severn and it floods. It floods quite horrifically. I used to play cricket actually it would be about here, sort of over here. There's a gap. Yeah, it would have been around about there actually. And my aunt lives over here somewhere. So I have family in the area, and it's amazing to be able to see, where I grew up, where a lot of my formative railway experiences were, and in fact one of my favourite formative railway experiences was standing on this very bridge, watching the exact sight you're about to see now. I'd often stand in the corner here and just let me get the thing all set and watch trains pull away with my dad and mum as well. But yeah, down here somewhere there's a... In reality, I don't think there is on the game, but in reality there's a grave to the station cat Smudge, which passed away years ago now. But it's a very good representation, this. It's very, very good. I will eventually stop gushing about how awesome it looks, and I will just let you get on with enjoying the route and just talking through some stuff. But yeah, no, it does look. It looks absolutely amazing. They've done a really good job. It does feel like I'm driving along the route that I have known for much of my childhood. But anyway, let's get back onto our train as we pull out towards in the direction of Arley, Highley, Hampton, Load and Bridge North. That's a reference for anyone that's been on the railway. And actually just down here there is a road. You can just see it through the trees, and you can actually walk along it. I actually do a railway walk all the way along the entire route of the Severn Valley. Come up here, see. In fact, I've stood on there waiting to see the 28XX, the 280 freight locomotive that the Severn Valley Railway has, which, as far as I'm aware, no one's built as yet for Train Simulator. If anyone knows where there is one, let me know, because I'd love to have one anyway, because it's a great locomotive. And also the 15XX1501, the big 060 pannier tank. I would like to get my hands on one of those as well, if anyone makes them or knows of where I can get them. I'm really hoping that Victory Works do one, but maybe that's wishful thinking. It's a very specific locomotive type. Put the blower on, keep ourselves running, but we are going uphill, so we've got to spend a bit more steam. But yes, one of my favourite summer hobbies was get the first train from Coincheanainn to Bewdley, get off at Bewdley and walk pretty much along next to the track, the route of the railway. We won't be doing that, obviously. We are going to be driving it. But that walking route is literally right next to the track. You walk all the way along this road, past Northwood Halt, which we're coming to reasonably soon. Let me see if I can get one of the iconic shots of the railway, because anyone that comes to the railway has to film this particular shot. I think it's only fair that you get the same treatment. Everyone sets up around about here, somewhere here anyway, and gets a shot of the engines coming along here. I haven't quite got the angle that they get in real life, but I don't believe the real life preserved Earl of Mount Edgecombe has ever visited the Severn Valley Railway. I could be wrong. If anyone's seen it, please let me know. I would be surprised if it hasn't, but I don't recall it. But then I'm not an aficionado, let's put it that way. Ah yes, we're coming up soon to Northwood Halt, but we're still quite a way away. I probably need to slow myself down. Yep. Sorry, just having fun with the whistles there. And yeah, so I don't know what other routes you're going to see, by the way. I have ideas as to what you're going to see, but I don't have any definitive answers as to what you're going to see during this, other than Sodor, obviously, and at least one TrainSim World video. But yeah, I don't know what other routes you're going to see, but I definitely want to get this one in, because it's very important to me, and it's going to become very important to myself and Charlie. There's another little hint for you. Yes, we are now approaching Northwood Halt, so we shall leave Earl Mount Edgecombe for a bit, and we shall. Yes, now I would normally turn down there when I'm going on my walk, but we are going past possibly the loudest crossing in the history of crossings, and speeding as we come through Northwood Halt. Which, like I said, we're not stopping at the halts on this particular journey. But yeah, Northwood Halt set in the countryside. Now they haven't put the sound effect in, which I'm slightly disappointed at, because they've got everything else so accurate. But these would normally be going. Well, I think they have now actually changed them because people at the house next door, understandably, got quite angry about that. Going off, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times a day, particularly during the summer months. She's steaming well. Is Mount Edgecombe. When I played original TrainSim, Microsoft TrainSim, this is one of my favourite locomotives because it came with the second Cambrian coast route. The Cambrian coast in itself was pretty cool because you've got your 262 prairies and stuff like that, and lots of GWR stuff. But they eventually brought out the bigger Cambrian coast, which I believe was Blue Arrow. No, it wasn't Blue Arrow. Severn Valley Railway with Blue Arrow TrainSim, and that was an awful company by all accounts. But yeah. So but the Duke Dog came with that. That was my first introduction to a GWR Duke Dog. I wasn't really aware of it as a locomotive up until that point. For the record, I might bring some Microsoft Train Simulator to this at some point. Some of the original ones, sort of maybe do a comparison between the original Settle Carlisle and their version of Settle Carlisle and our version of Settle Carlisle now, the modern version. Yes, we're now going past Trimply Reservoir, and Trimply Reservoir is another favourite part of mine. I would walk with my dad and the dogs down this hill. We'd come down here and make sure there were no locomotives, climb over the gate. You don't have to climb over the gate, it's just a normal gate. And I'd often just stand here. Just enjoy being that close to a railway, and then you cross over to the two reservoirs, which I believe are Severn Trent. And when I'm doing my big railway walk, I would walk along here, this side of the reservoir. And then I would duck through the woods here to come down next to the River Severn. As we watch now, the public can't go on this particular bit of road, I don't think. So this is a view that I don't believe the public can get of the locomotive going through there. But we're gonna, like I said, we're gonna change. We're gonna go through my route, which brings us out under here, and possibly the most famous site on the Severn Valley Railway. We get to look back and look at Victoria Bridge. I will start to slow the train now, because I need to, because we are approaching Arley, which some of you may know from the TV series Oh Dr. Beeching, in which it appears quite heavily. But yes, my walk goes along there. I need to stop saying that word so loudly, just in case the dog hears me from upstairs. It's quite late at night, but he still will want one. So my W goes along there, but yes, we now are approaching into Arley. What platform we're going into? The correct one? Yes, good. It's actually quite a climb into Arley, so we don't need the brakes on as we head into it, because it will naturally slow us on the climb. And yes, Arley in the series Oh Dr. Beeching was Hatley, the station that that entire series was based around, if you didn't know that. And if you don't know about the series, it's very, very funny. It's written by Perry and Croft, the people that were the people behind things like Heidi High and things like that. So yeah, and actually I've done some work with the youth volunteers here. We cleaned out a culvert that's in real life just on our left. I don't think this particular iteration of the Severn Valley has it. But yes, so now we are at Harley, or as they used to say while the TV show is being filmed, Hartley, 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 change here for Boston and Wednesday. Now here there's often, in this siding here, there's often a load of trucks. And there was where the railway cottages were. And there's a wonderful garden here, which is gorgeous to sit in and watch the trains go by. But yes, and then further down, you've got... I wonder if that path's an asset. Might have to use that at some point. I don't think it is, but I might have to use it. But yeah, and then you've got the station buildings over here. And just over here, these are bookshelves. Bookshops. And a little refreshment room. And there was a little garden here, but they have changed it drastically. Those are the milk bottles, because I don't have all the assets. And then there's a pub down here. And then, yeah, this is Arley Village, and up there is Arley Arboretum, which is, again, I'm basically doing a tourist video for for Worcestershire and Shropshire now. We're just on the edge of Worcestershire at the moment, and my W takes me along this bank, comes to here, and then I have to cross over and walk along this bank, and to get to Highley, because this becomes private land quite quickly. But either way, we've loaded the passengers now, and so we shall right away make sure the route is all set up to take us to our next stopping point, which I do believe it is. Lovely. Set that to running, please. Thank you. And as we pull away, I shall show you a view I've had many times as a child, watching locomotives pull away from Arley, by showing you the view from just here at the end of the platform in this picnic area. And it is genuinely, I know that I've gone on about this a lot, but this is genuinely a very faithful representation of this railway, and I'm very excited to have it. I'm very excited. Like I said, I will be using bits of it on Sodor, but also it's just nice to have in general. Now it's a climb pretty much all the way out of Arley and to our next destination, and our next destination is why this route has taken on a newfound importance, both not just for me but also for Charlie. Now this happened in the time that we were away, and I haven't announced it on the channel yet. If you are a good friend of mine, you'll know this, but those of you that watch the channel for the TrainSim videos, I'm well aware that most of you aren't my friends. In terms of, we're not personal friends, we don't know each other, you are all my friends. Anyone that watches this channel I consider a friend. But I haven't announced this publicly. Said the YouTuber with under 500 subscribers at time of recording. The reason that the next station, Highley, takes on newfound importance is because it is where myself and Charlie are going to get married. The legal ceremony is taking place at Highley Engine House, which I'm genuinely excited for. I love that woman with all my heart, no matter how much crap I put her through sometimes, and getting married to her is just going to be amazing. She's actually doing a vlog about it. She's been doing a vlog about it for quite a while. I will have mentioned it before on the channel, but in the description below you can find her channel. She's also on my recommended channels as well. She's actually vlogging the wedding, so if that is your thing, or if it is someone you know's thing, please do direct them towards it. It would really mean a lot to both myself and her if you did go and watch it, because we've put a lot of planning into this wedding. I say Charlie has done a huge amount of the planning for this wedding. She's the organiser. She is most definitely the organiser of the two of us. I've helped. I mean, don't get me wrong, I've not just said, oh, you do it, love, because that's not how we work, but she is much better at organisation than I am. and she's put a lot of work into the wedding. But I am genuinely excited. It's happening next year. There will be a video about it. Of course there'll be a video about it on the channel. But I am genuinely so thrilled to be marrying the woman of my dreams on a part of my childhood. And before anyone asks, no, it was not my idea. It was not just my idea to get married on the Severn Valley Railway. It was actually a joint idea. I don't want to give too much away because I want you to go and watch Charlie's vlogs because they're hilarious. For a start, they are genuinely very, very funny. I know I'm biased, but they are funny. Objectively, they're funny. Excuse me. But it marries, pardon the pun, it marries two of our favourite things together. In what I think is actually a very, very neat and clever way. So yeah, when we get to Highley, I will be very much enjoying the moment because that's where it's going to happen. I will be travelling. I'm not going to tell you anything else about the wedding because that's what Charlie's vlog is for. So down in the description of this video, there will also be a link to Charlie's YouTube page. It's also my recommended channel pages. Please do go and have a watch the vlogs that she's done. If she's put them into a playlist, I'll link the playlist. If not, I'll link you to the first one, and then you can watch all the videos in sequence. But she's first of all done a lot of work on the wedding, but she's also done a huge amount of work on the vlog. So please do go and show your support to both of us by watching it, but primarily show your support to her and go and watch it. Like I said, using the link in the description down below. But yeah, no, I'm very excited to. Oh, I'm excited to get married to her. I love her. But yeah, no, I'm gonna. It's gonna make something that was already very special. It's gonna make two things that are already very special to be even more special. The fact that I get to join them together in such an awesome way as getting married. And the building we're getting married in is coming up on the left now as we enter Highley. Like I said, it's Highley Engine House, which is, for those of you that don't know, it's sort of museum visitor centre / engine shed, where none of the locos that aren't in steam and gas locomotives are housed on the Severn Valley, and this is it. We're getting married inside that exact building, which is kind of cool from a gamer's perspective, that I can play a game, and whenever I play this game now, whenever I play this route, I shall forever go past the site of my marriage, which is nerdy or not. I don't care whether you're into trains, I don't care whether it, whatever else you guys might think. For me, that is going to be awesome. Forever. Actually, let me know in the comments if ever you've played a game that has allowed you to do something similar to that, because I can't think of one. I can't think of any other game where I'd be able to do that. But yeah, I will now forever, every time I run this route, I will always go past the site of my marriage, which is just so cool on so many levels. But yeah, so this is Highley Station. This is where we shall be getting off the train. And yes, there's the engine house. We should be getting married roughly here. It's roughly about there. Obviously, it doesn't look like this because this has no scenery on the inside. But yeah, we're getting married roughly here. I think we're facing that way, facing that wall. Well, let's say facing. We're obviously facing each other. We're getting married. But yeah. So yeah, that's awesome. That's just awesome. If ever I want to go past the site of my marriage, I can just turn this on and run a train from Arley to Highley and back. But yeah, so this is anyway. Sorry. So I shall now become a professional YouTuber again, and very briefly do the non-romantic bit of this is Highley. It's a lovely place. As far as I'm aware, it's not known for anything famous. But yeah, that's the dull, boring Highley real life bit. It's a lovely station, and my W along the river takes me along there. Anyway, yes, next stop is Hampton Load, but yeah, that's where I'm getting married, folks, next year, October 16th, 2021. That's where it's happening, and that's when it's happening. So yes, I shall now pull myself away from my impending marriage and continue with the Let's Play. But yeah, bye wedding. See you next year. You know what, go ahead and judge me. I can be romantic on my own videos. I'm genuinely very excited. Like I wish I want to tell you so much more about the wedding, but I want Charlie to do that because she's doing a whole vlog on her YouTube channel about it. So please, if you want to know about the wedding, please do go and check out the vlog in the description below, because she will A, explain it far better than I will, and B, it's a shared thing. I've shown you the railway side of the wedding, so that's my half of the wedding. Now if you want to see the full half, the other half, the full picture, the other half, go and watch my other half's YouTube channel. But yeah, so yeah, I'm really excited about it. I'm really excited about it. And the fun thing is, I don't know if Charlie will ever watch this video, so she may not know that I've ever gushed at her. I mean, she's upstairs, she could be listening, I don't know. But if she's already asleep, which she might be, to be fair, it is 20 to 1 in the morning when I'm recording this. But yeah, if she's already asleep and doesn't watch this video, that bit of gush was just between me and you guys. Because I'm not going to force her to watch it. Now, yes, it's 1 in 100 out of Highley, so I have to do quite a bit of work to get us moving. And use a fair bit of steam to get us out of Highley Station. It is quite a climb. It's almost like the engine doesn't want me to leave Highley Station. To be honest, I don't really want to. I could sit there forever and think about my wedding. Our wedding, I should say. But I am doing a Let's Play, so romantic head temporarily off, Let's Play head on as we head towards Hampton Load, and Bridgenorth. Yeah, I'm going to need to rest the engine a little bit once we get to the top of this hill, because I have used a lot of steam. But I'll give it a rest now. I can probably turn the blower off if I'm resting. Because we are now on flat ground, which means we won't lose speed anywhere near as much. On the 15 mph speed limit. Yes, I am obeying this one particular speed limit. Judge me. I haven't obeyed any of the others. But yeah, this is now, we then go on a curve, and it's pretty much a long straight as we go past Country Park Halt. Country Park, where I did my work experience, in fact, the Severn Valley Country Park. Did my week of work experience there when I was in high school. It was good. I lived off minestrone soup for the week and learnt a lot about various beetles and wildlife. And on one of my days where I got to wander down, I got to come and wander down to the Halt station. And I watched... oh, Southern Locomotive. I want to say Clive something. But I could be wrong. But yeah, this is Country Park Halt. It's a very simple and Spartan station. But yeah, there's a huge country park that covers much of this area. Oh, I've missed the Earl of I've missed the Earl of Mount Edgecombe. We'll watch him from further down and closer to the track. I think there is a, yeah, you can walk down this far, I believe. But yes, sorry. Since while Mount Edgecombe disappears, I will actually show you the Halt station in a bit more detail. I didn't think we were that close to it. But yes, here is Country Park Halt. As you can see, quite a Spartan arrangement. Actually, there's not much to show you there, so there it is. But yeah, we're now heading towards Hampton Load at a fairly decent speed. And yeah, it's just really cool, this route, because there's so much of my early life, my current life, and ultimately my future life that's in this route. It is really cool that this exists. Not just as a TrainSim fan, but as a fan of my life in general, I guess. Because I quite like my life, ultimately. And getting married next year is just going to improve it. But yeah, and the fact that it's all so tied in together. It is tied into Charlie's life as well, but in a different way. As she'll explain to you on her vlogs. Check out the description below. I don't know how many times I've plugged that. A lot, and I'm not ashamed. You should definitely go and check it out. But yes, we're now heading towards Hampton Load. We're yeah, just over half a mile away. Oh yeah, I'm working against the brakes, that's why I'm not accelerating as I should be. That explains it, there we are. It's more like it. But yeah, and actually, genuinely, I know that they wouldn't have done, they were built for lines in Wales. I don't think you would have seen a Duke dog run along the Severn Valley Railway, but it's the perfect locomotive for it. It's got enough power and speed to get things up and down the line quickly, but it's small enough to not look out of place. Like, I know that one of the Severn Valley Railway locomotives, I did consider doing this video with this particular locomotive. One of the famous Severn Valley Railway locomotives is, of course, the Union of South Africa, which is sadly being lost to the heritage movement. The end of this year, or now, during lockdown. I'm not sure, it's being lost to us very, very soon because of a decision taken by the owner, which is his prerogative, whether we agree with it or not. And many of us don't agree with it, but it is his prerogative, it is ultimately his property. But yeah, I did consider running this route with the Union of South Africa, but then I thought, I've got so many locomotives at my disposal. And with all due respect to the Union of South Africa, while in the preservation era it looks right, it was always far too big for a route like this. And as you may have noticed from the previous 10-15 minutes of this episode, I am actually quite romantic at heart. And I thought, well, I've already done the 14XX, the 042. And I want to save the pannier tank. So I thought Earl of Mount Edgecombe. Duke dog looks about right. Feels about right. Drives very nicely. I know what that'll do. Let's apply. There we go. We've arrived at Hampton Load. Hampton Load station is, again, fairly Spartan, miles away from the village it serves. Down here is the site of the Hampton Load Ferry, which is a chain-driven ferry. They pull you across, or at least it used to be. I went on it once when I was younger, but they literally, it was run on the day I went. It was being run by two women, and they literally just pull you across the river on a chain drive. It's amazing. But yeah, and it's at this point that I have a choice on my W, because I appear here. I can get up onto the train at this point, depending on how much of the day it's taken me, and catch the last train, or the penultimate train to Bridgnorth at Hampton here, get to Bridgnorth, have about half an hour turnaround, and then stay on that train, which becomes the last train back to Kidderminster. If I miss that, I am fucked, for the record. So it's a bit of a time challenge. Or I can just carry on the walk if I've got here ahead of the last train, and I can power it to Bridgnorth. But the other thing about Hampton Load, two other things that need to be mentioned. One, this is where I met the Reverend Audrey. They were in this room of the station buildings, in this room, just here, of the booking hall. He was there. He was signing books and meeting children. And over here they have a miniature railway, which I thought, it's going to be interesting to see what they do with it in this route. Looks a little picnic area, and the Paddock Railway. But they've actually got a little train. I don't know what kind of locomotive it is. I will try and get a decent screenshot of it. And they've got it running on its own little track, which I will again use in Sodor. But here is the frozen speed shot of it coming up now. But anyway, we have to finish this Let's Play, and to do that we have to take our passengers down to Bridgnorth. Let me just make sure that this is all set up for us to get to Bridgnorth safely and sound. Yes, I think it is. Good, so let us go, as they say. Empty the cylinder cocks and pull away from Hampton Load. It's very weird, I have to be honest, it's very weird, and I appreciate this might be how people who play Fallout 3 and 4 are, people who are from Washington and people who are from Boston, to see their town and city in a computer game. And just see, obviously Fallout 3 and 4 are slightly different situations to this particular one, but just seeing what details the developers get right, what details the developers get wrong. But it's genuinely awesome for me to have my hometown steam railway, Heritage Railway. It was interesting when I had it, because I also bought the Blue Arrow TrainSim version for Microsoft TrainSim, but that wasn't anywhere near as... It was a hyper-detailed route for Microsoft TrainSim, but it wasn't anywhere near as detailed as this route is. And this is a freeware route from Steam Sound Supreme, but it's still pretty darn awesome. So see, and I've seen this railway from this level. I know what it looks like. I know what to expect around the corner. I know, what sound locomotive we'll be making. And this is definitely the sound that they would make coming out of Hampton Load. It's just, and adding to that, the wedding and what it's going to mean to me personally next year, on top of what it already means to me personally, it's just amazing. It's amazing to have this on my computer. Just amazing. But yeah, there is the Stearns landslip in reality, which is where all trains have to slow to 5 miles an hour. It's not on the route. I wouldn't have obeyed it anyway, because I like to forget that the railway isn't infallible, and that there was a massive landslip that nearly destroyed it. Genuinely almost did as much damage to the railway as the current COVID crisis, or at least current at time of recording, has done to the Heritage Railway movement as a whole. That bridge is always really weird, and it's lovely to see it rendered. But it's really weird. I don't know why that bridge is shaped like that. It looks almost like it's inflatable. I don't know whether they've caught that particular aspect of it. Yeah, but yeah, the blue bits, I know they're obviously not, but it almost looks like it's inflatable in real life. And yeah, so I think it's a waterworks, water treatment plant of some description. I'm not sure. And yes, the railway does run this close to actual cornfields. It's just, it's a really good route. It's a really good route. If I have found a download link for it in the description below, I recommend you get it wholeheartedly, ignoring the fact that I'm local and biased. Genuinely, as a route, it's just wonderful to drive. It's a beautiful, great Western country branch line, and of a decent length as well. Like, it's going to take us about an hour, this video, by the time that we arrive in Bridge North. But it's just amazing. It's a really well done route, and obviously, knowing the route as I do, that just adds an extra layer to it for me personally. So yes, we're now going downhill. We haven't reached the summit of the Severn Valley Railway yet, but I do need to slow us down because we are going pretty swiftly. Not 25 mph, but for a heritage railway, that's going some. That is seriously going some. It's also the speed limit, the legal speed limit, so I have to slow down. But yeah, no, the Severn Valley Railway, when I used it on Microsoft TrainSim, became my test route for all new locomotives. And I think it's going to become that for me now on this version of the route. All new locomotives will have a run on the Severn Valley Railway, at least, even if it's just a short one, like, you know, Bewdley to Highley or something. But just to put them through their paces. Not this particularly demanding route, but yeah. Also, it basically determines, are you good enough to run on Sodor? Again, links to Sodor snippets in the description below. But yeah, so this is a video I was looking forward to doing. I planned it long before I planned the summer festival of Steam on this channel. Which, by the way, I hope you guys are enjoying. I don't know what you will have seen up to this point. Obviously, you'll have seen at least one, probably two Sodor snippets videos by now, which should be Mainline Part 2 and China Clay. But I really hope you guys are enjoying this month's worth of footage, and there's still plenty to come. Ah yes, this house. This is where the Stearns landslip happened, just a bit further up the track up here. Was it just behind? No, it was just behind. We've just gone past it. Just behind the house there. But that house looks exactly like that. That's the exact house. And it does, it just looks right. It's the best compliment I can pay the developers of this route. It looks right. And we can now start accelerating away from the 15 mph zone. And pick up a little bit of speed again before we do reach the summit, which is not far away now at all, I don't think. So about to go through Erdington Bank Summit. Yes, there we go. Yes, we're now going to go to Erdington Halt, which on the original TrainSim, Microsoft TrainSim, you could stop at. You can't stop at it in this one, which is fine. I don't particularly want to stop there. Although I would like to do a couple of scenarios, I think, and run this as a branch line in GWR days. But yeah, here we are, Erdington Halt. And again, it looks just perfect. Get a decent shot. On this siding is where they keep the permanent way train. This siding just here, so you wouldn't normally get a good view from here because it would be covered by wagons and trucks. As we accelerate through. Remember, my dad drove me up to Erdington once, and we parked up out on the road, just parked up pretty much where those cars were, and we just sat and watched as a train went by. It was gorgeous, brilliant. And yes, that's the main road to Bridgnorth. But I now need to arrest the speed of this and stop the water transfer into the... Oh no, I don't need to arrest the speed. We're going up 1 in 100 bank. We haven't reached the summit yet. Literally, I just said that. You said that to the nice people watching. Humble, come on. Might need a bit of sand to get up this fearsome bank of 1 in 100. Which doesn't sound particularly fearsome when you imagine that this railway was originally going to be run, you know, by tank engines and small... I mean, manners would come down, I think. That was about the biggest thing you'd get along here. Oh, and just underneath this bridge is a thing called Cottage Crossing, which I shall show you. And it's got a cottage there that looks exactly like that. And my mum has wanted to buy this cottage forever. So I'm now going to sit on the garden bench in the front garden of the house my mum has always wanted to own. And at some point, if I ever got the money, I'd probably like to own it, or at least, you know, pay them to piss off for a week and spend a week while the Severn Valley's running. Oh, it's struggling now up to the top. Spend a week just in this, just here, but yeah, this is... Mum, this shot's for you. This is what could have been in your front garden. Although if it was, Dad would never get any work done. Just be out the front all the time watching the trains go by. But yeah, this is something special. This video, I'll be honest, this video is as much for me as it is for you guys watching. There's the Bridgnorth distance signal. We are getting towards the summit now. In fact, there it is. I can see it just in front of me. Sorry if the locomotive is quite loud, but... yeah, there is actually, I believe there's a sign on the railway that says Summit of the SVR. I don't know if... I can't remember if they've included it here. I feel like they have, yeah. Oh, it's loading in for a bit. There we go, thank you. TrainSim, thank you very much for that. But once we reach the top, I'm shutting everything off and we are coasting down into Bridgnorth. Yeah, there it is, Erdington Bank Summit. Erdington Bank Summit. 210 feet above sea level. And we can now turn that off. Take the sanders off, let it coast, turn the blower off as well, and let the steam pressure recover on its own as we coast down to Bridgnorth. There is, I believe, a small tunnel here, but again, I don't have... I can't remember, it might be London to Brighton that I don't have, something like that, but yeah, I don't have it, so... it's not there. But there is a tunnel here, I promise you. Should we go into the land? Yep. Then we come out of the tunnel. And we continue our... well, not quite descent, we're sort of vaguely flat, but we continue our approach into Bridgnorth. It is at this point that if I have W'd to Bridgnorth along the riverbank, I join the road about here. And if I get this sight as I join the road, and I see a train on this bridge, it's where I start panicking and looking at bus timetables. Back to Kidderminster. But yeah, so this is now the approach to Bridgnorth. To be fair, if I'm at that point, I've usually got about half an hour before the train, because they take on water and they have to run round the carriages. But yes, we are now on final approach to Bridgnorth. And yeah, I to sum up, this route is very special to me for many reasons. Obviously my childhood, obviously my first real interaction with steam locomotives, and the fact that it's from where I was brought up, and it's so close to my house. You know, I think it's about to walk it, it's about 45 minutes from my house if you're taking it gently. To get to Kidderminster Station by car, it's about 5:10 depending on traffic. You know, it's my hometown. It's just, and then add to that, on top of that, the fact that it's where I'm going to marry the woman I love more than anything in the entire world. And it's just perfect. And the fact that I get to have this on my computer so I can visit it whenever I want. Not in the middle of lockdown. I can visit it. It's fantastic that this exists. You know, people talk about video games and the harm that they appear to do, but nah. Sometimes video games can definitely be a force for good, and this is, while not necessarily being a force for good in the grand scheme of things, it's definitely a positive thing that this video game exists and this route exists on this video game. Yeah, very much so. And this is Bridgnorth. This is Bridgnorth Station. Further over here is the end of the Severn Valley. This line originally would have led off to, there was a bridge here and it would have led off to Ironbridge. But yeah, and then there's this bridge that you have to cross to get to the main part of Bridgnorth, and it's horrible because I don't like heights. And it wobbles in the wind and it's awful. It's just, there's nothing positive about it at all. But it gets you across to here, which is where Bridgnorth Castle is, which I think is what this vaguely represents. And then Bridgnorth Town, High Town and Low Town, is around here. And yeah, and no, it's just, this is a really well made route, and it's a route that's very dear to my heart, and it's something that I'm very glad exists on Train Simulator. So yeah, I hope you did enjoy that. I hope that my gushing wasn't too much for you. I hope it didn't put too many of you off, or you didn't turn off halfway through. But yeah, this is quite an important route for me. And I'm very happy to have shared it with you. If you have enjoyed what you're seeing, please do like and subscribe. Check out, like I said, I will hopefully find a link to go in the description to the Steam Sound Supreme website. If there isn't one there, I couldn't find a link to this route. So I will keep searching. I will keep searching for you. But yeah, check out the route down below if it's there. If not, check out Steam Supreme's website, along with Digital Traction, where I got this locomotive from, and a number of other third-party train sim developers that I just like. I'm not endorsing them. They don't know I'm endorsing them. There's no deal. It's just I really like them, and I think you guys will like them too. Check them out down below. Also, check out my Sodor Snippet series down below. Check out the rest of this series down below, and enjoy the rest of my Festival of Steam. Thank you ever so much for watching. I was me. That was the Severn Valley Railway, my hometown railway, on Train Simulator 2020. Thank you ever so much for watching. Goodbye. Look at things like Railway Modeller, the magazine, or any modelling magazine. Other ones are available. I'm not being sponsored by Railway Modeller or not at all. Although Railway Modeller, if you're listening, Pico through and through. But what am I doing? What was that? On many levels, like I said, highly inaccurate, but good fun. Yeah, just to let you know, cars, there's one dead person, never mind.